Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the 2021 USA TKD US Open. I'm National Coach Barbara Brand, along with everybody's Poomsae pal, Miyako Yerick. We're here today to get to some finals action, right, Miyako?
That's right. We're getting to kick off our finals here. We'll have 2 episodes of the finals, but today is going to be all of the cadet action. So we're actually going to start with our black belt males in our cadets and then work through the color belts in a fun order. We're going to have blue belts, then green belts, then yellow belts. No, blue belts, then green belts, then red belts, then yellow belts. And then we'll do the same order with the female. So make sure you're tuning in for the whole thing. It's all finals. So at most we have 8 athletes in each of those divisions.
Super exciting. So without further ado, let's go.
All right, and here we go. Our first division of the night is the male recognized cadet black belt finals.
But first, we have Sean Teo. Sean's coming to us from New York. He trains at East Taekwondo with his coach, Chen Chao Lu. We haven't seen a ton of Taeguk Gyukjang during the US Open, so kind of fun to see this one in the final round.
That's right. We get an opportunity here to get lots of front kick views. I know we've mentioned this, I think, in the Grand Slam, but there's like 6 front kick opportunities. Right. We get round kicks for the only time in Gyukjang here. And these are our top 8 athletes of every division. So it's going to be an exciting, quick round here.
So Sean scores a 7.2 to start off the round.
시작. Sean has really long legs for a cadet. The cadet division is 12 to 14 years old. He's getting a nice reach on the front stances, nice and long. But some of those back stances, he's just not quite getting his weight back and stacking on after the front kicks.
Right. Although Taeguk Sajang is a relatively low Poomsae, right? Only the 4th Poomsae that athletes usually learn. It sure is a separator. Those with really great technique and those with moderate technique, it's really going to be able to see the difference between those. Although all of our athletes in this round are going to be very, very strong. Sean Teo now getting a much higher score in Sajang and getting a 7.280 combined score. And I would imagine that many athletes will get a higher score with Sajang. What's your bet, Miyako?
I think so too. They get the chance for the side kicks, so I think the presentation can go up a little bit there, and they've just been doing it longer, so hopefully they feel more comfortable with 4.
Right, this is Silas Min doing an excellent job with extending those kicking techniques. Maybe a little bit more chamber would be super cool for him. He does have a nice chamber on the round kick. Let's see if he does it here. Silas is from North Carolina. Yeah, real good job there. He's from North Carolina and trains at Kim's Taekwondo Center under his coach, Soo-Young Kim. I like his expression as he's throwing those quick hand techniques. He's really putting everything into it. This gets a 7.34.
Right, and since our athletes all competed in the same flight for the semifinals, this is the first time actually for this division that we have an order based on scores. So they're going in reverse order depending on the scores from the semifinal round. So our athlete with the highest scores is going to be going last. They'll be going 8th for all of these final divisions tonight.
Silas is really throwing on the hand technique power here. Right at the end of the movement there, a nice little finish. Right, you touched on that semifinal a little bit, Miyako. So for all of you watching out there in the audience, if you watched the semifinal round, congratulations. That was good effort on your part, 7.36, because the semifinal round was really quite long, right, Miyako?
Yeah, we had so many athletes, and it's because we had such a big prelim round that semis was so big.
So I finished up with a 7.35, and this is Don Hui Kim from Kim's K Taekwondo in Georgia. Right, when we left, unfortunately, a lot of good athletes, very good athletes in that semifinal round.
Back of my notes, in the cadet division in the semis, they had to do Taego Chiljang and Ojang, so 7 and 5. Now here 6 and 4.
Hello.
So that's Don Hui Kim from Georgia getting a 7.36. So we've seen 2 other 7.36s. That's the highest score that's been given so far. But both of the others were for Taeguk Sajang.
Almost skipped a little behind him on that second side kick.
Right, the posture was just a little bit off.
Hello.
Good, and very nice finish for Don Hui Kim. And he received a 7.36 for Taeguk Yukjung. And now for Taeguk Sanjang, higher, 7.4. Now that's the highest score so far, the first 3 athletes to go up. He finishes with a 7.38, so now into first place. Up next, we have Kailex Kalinlim.
준비.
And Kailex is from Illinois. He
시작.
trains at Flying V Martial Arts under his coach, Vincent Villena.
I think in one of the previous episodes, you had had one of the female athletes as one of your favorite names to say, but I think Kailex Kalimlim is one of my favorite names to say.
Definitely one of the nominations for our Poomsae Awards that will be done at the end of this year, right? At the end of 2021. We'll host that'll be quite the gala. Kailex has really great speed on some of the finishes here. His kicking technique is really sharp, but his stances are so nice and low.
Yeah. He's, we talked a lot about having low, deep stances, and he is a good example of how to do that.
Right. I agree. He got a 7.5, the highest score so far. And we kind of think this is going to happen sometimes, right, in the final round where they're positioned based on their semifinal score. So we're seeing the athletes that scored the highest going last in the round. So we're working our way up through the athletes to get probably scores, like I'm guessing, close to high 7s.
Right, we haven't seen too many 8s recently, but we have seen judges throughout the US Open be willing to give high 8s, especially for some of those senior divisions in the last session. So we'll see if any of the cadets today can get a combined score in an 8. That was our high was like an 8.3 in the senior division.
Right, that would be a high, that would be quite a feat. Yeah, we did see that like early on in session 1. 7.63 for Kailex. We're working our way up for sure. His combined score is 7.565. Up next, we have Mikhail Cho. Mikhail trains at Eagles Taekwondo in Southern California with his coach, Jung Hwan Jin.
시작.
So like you mentioned, we sort of expect the scores to go up here as we go through the athletes based on reverse order from the semis, but we've also, in the first session with the seniors and masters, saw quite a bit of turnaround with some athletes jumping all the way up from 6th place to 1st place. So you never really know. Each form is slightly different. Athletes have good runs, so we'll have to wait and see, although the first 4 athletes are so far in increasing order.
Right, and also we saw the reverse of that. Athletes who came into the round in 1st place all of a sudden dipped down in score, and so anything can happen in this final round. So Michael Cho starts off with the highest score so far for Taegeuk Gukjeong with a 7.53.
시작.
And having him go right after Calyx is just such a comparison. Calyx, a little bit shorter, maybe newer to the division, very low grounded, but Mikhail here, taller, longer limbs, really taking up a bigger volume of motion and getting some good power at the end too.
And getting a great score. So with that 7.53, let's see if he can push up past that 7.63 that Calyx got, or anything above a 7.6. I think would move him first. See how he does. 7.63, same as Calyx Glimlim. So he's just a hair above Calyx at this point. Oh wait, yeah, just a hair above Calyx at this point, the 7.58. Up next we have Wai Jingong. He trains in New Jersey with Apex Tiger Martial Arts with his coach Gunsu Kim. No, that's incorrect. Sorry, he trains with Gita Gun.
He had a good position on the first round kick. Body stays straight, but the round kick goes just past center. Oh, that time the torso piked just a little bit. And Weijing, I think I mentioned, plays competitive soccer, but he's also an advanced skier and enjoys playing the piano.
So Weijing, a 7.53, the same score as Mikhail Cho.
All right, so here we're starting to get some tightening with these last 3 athletes, 7.5, 7.53, 7.53. A little bit of misalignment there on the side kicks, but really pushing for height. Good stack of the weight on the back kicks. These guys all have really nice front kicks. Stances might be a little bit narrow, actually.
Yes, there's some room for the referees to go either way. Front kick's really high, foot position not quite right. Side kick's nice and high, the alignment just a little off, and I think those things matter. So he gets a 7.54 and finishes with a 7.535. So close. So far we have Mikhail Cho in first place, followed by Calyx Glimlim, Wai Jingong, Don Hui Kim, Silas Min, and Sean Teo. And we have just 2 athletes left, the first of whom is Alfredo Lopez Salas from Texas. He trains at Team Forge Taekwondo. His coach, AJ Munoz. He's a little bit higher up, kind of like Mikhail Cho.
Right, Alfredo is in Texas, like you mentioned, and he trained during that winter storm without any heat or power to get ready for this tournament. So I think it's just really great perseverance here we're getting to see from this young athlete.
And he gets now the highest score so far, 7.63, at least the highest in Taegeuk Gukjeong. So Calyx and Mikhail Cho both got 7.63s for Taegeuk Sajang. So let's see if he can boost up a 7.53 for his second form. That 7.53 was the highest score for Taeguk Yukjung, so that will put him in first place.
Yeah, he has to beat that 7.53 in this form to go into first. He says that he has missed traveling a lot during the pandemic. He's been to over 20 countries and is looking forward to his next trip, which is scheduled for 2022. But given that he lives in Texas, I hope that he doesn't count traveling to our Grand Prix, which will be in Texas in June, as travel, because that one is close to him.
And right around the corner. So Alfredo got a 7.5 for that second one. So he's going to finish with a 7.565, which is the exact same score Calix received. This is Enoch Choi, who finished the semifinals, of course, in first place. Now seeing him last in the finals. That was interesting. He put his foot down first and then finished the hand technique. So we do have to be careful of the timing there. He's using a lot of power though. Good alignment there. Wow, 7.86.
Ooh.
Not even close.
Big jump here. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That's 0.23 above our highest score prior to his going up.
Right. So if Enoch Choi can get a similarly high score, or really anything above like a 7.5, he'll be solidly into first here. Then we have Mikhail Cho, and then we have a tie for third place. So because of Poomsae, the way that we do it, they'll both be third points wise. They'll be the same, but we will get to see based on the tiebreaker who wins based on presentation.
Right. That's Enoch Choi, the 7.86, and look at that pair. So he's going to finish with 7.86 and that coveted first place spot and that major win here in this 2021 US Open. So here are the standings at the end of the round. Enoch Choi in first, followed by Mikhail Cho. Calix Klimlim takes that third spot based on presentation, followed by Alfredo Lopez Salas, Wai Jingong, Don Hui Kim, Silas Min, and Sean Teo. What a great round. Up next, we'll have the male recognized cadet blue belt final. Up first, we'll have Reese Minho Jung, and he is from KS Choi Taekwondo Center in California. Well, that's fun. They get to do Taeguk Samjang.
I like Samjang a lot. I feel like it's a really great builder form.
Right. So it's the last of those first three foundational forms and the first form that we get with knife hand blocks, with knife hand strikes. So it's really fun.
Paddle.
And Reese gets a good score, 7.1. So this division went straight to the finals, right? So we have 4 athletes in the division. So we have half a rack in this division. Half a stack, half a pack. It makes it very exciting though, because these athletes, I'm sure at blue belt, have a lot of good skills that they want to show off in this small group. They really get to shine.
Right, and this is Taeguk Ojang, so this might be the blue belt's highest form that they know, maybe recently learning it. Again, 12 to 14 years old, the highest form that they do here. So I'm going to guess that these scores might be a little bit lower than Taeguk number 3, which they get to do first. But we also get to see side kicks to the side, which is different from Taeguk Sajang, where those side kicks come straight at us.
Right, and yes, you're right. He gets a 6.93, although his side kick foot position looked really good. And the alignment of his leg looked really good on the side kick. So he's going to finish with a 7.015. This is Hayden Kim, and Hayden is from Texas. He trains at World Champion Taekwondo with Nanyul Chu.
Hayden shows great enthusiasm in playing music and with his art. He enjoys playing the saxophone in his middle school band, and he's played the piano for many years.
So many of our Poomsae athletes are multi-talented, and many of them are musicians, right, Miyako? He
That's
gets a
right.
7.5. That is
Big score.
Oh my gosh, 7.5.
I know I've mentioned this many times, but I do feel like having a good understanding of music and the rhythm and tempo, like even just increasing the volume when you're playing. And then I guess I played the strings. I don't know if you can do that like with the saxophone, but having an understanding of when to show an emphasis on certain parts of the song is really great to translate to your Poomsae. Like, which areas do you want to focus on? Where do you want to go faster? Where do you kind of slow down, make connections, and then emphasize where you're really great at? So hopefully Hayden can take some of that music theory knowledge and apply it to his Poomsae. I think that last stance, he had that right foot to the right at like 2 o'clock instead of like 11 o'clock.
Wow, but another really good score, 7.36 for Hayden Kim. And he's going to finish with a 7.43. Up next is Jackson with an X, Jackson Friedemann from Oklahoma. He trains at Wolfpack. Oh, wow. Wolfpack. Sounds so intimidating. Wolfpack Taekwondo. He's coached by Lisa Wolf.
Jackson is from Oklahoma, you mentioned, and he is really dedicated to his Taekwondo. He trains 9 to 12 hours per week, and he even competed at an AAU Texas tournament when he had a cast on. So that's really great devotion there to our Poomsae.
Yeah, he gets a 6.04 to start off.
Jackson also says that he has Tourette's syndrome, but he doesn't let that stop him. He does Taekwondo, like I mentioned, he trains a ton of hours every week, and he also plays the piano and basketball.
It looked really good there on that side kick line. That's the one that shows the athlete's balance the most and their flexibility. Had a really nice core strength during that side kick line, both right side and left side. So he gets a score of 5.77. Maybe a few more hours of training, right, Miyako? How many was he training at? He gets 5.90. Was he training like 100 hours a week, he said?
Yeah, 9 to 12 hours per week.
Yeah, he's doing great. Yeah, I'm just kidding. This is Lucas Yi, and Lucas is from Florida, trains at this Taekwondo team. So he's kind of moving a little bit like Jackson, kind of high up in his stances.
Yeah, he has these really long legs, probably just growing a ton right now. needs
Right.
to just lengthen these stances, especially those front stances could be a whole step and a half longer, really.
Right, same thing for Jackson, just spread it out a little bit and lower your center of gravity and you're going to feel a lot more balanced.
So we have Hayden with that massive 7.43, but right now we kind of have a battle here for that second place spot between Rees Min Ho Jung, who went first, and now Lucas. Rees had a 7.1, Lucas a 7.04. So if he can stay about the range where he is now, Lucas, he can squeeze into second place here and get a few more ranking points.
Or, Lucas might be able to get an 8 here. If he gets an 8 here, he's going to take the division. Let's see how he does. That was a nice front kick on the end. So Lucas had a 7.04. So let's see if he can boost it up. Maybe past a 7.9. Oh, 6.7 is his score on the second form. So he's going to finish with a 6.87, quite a big gap, right, Miyako, between all the finishers. We have Hayden Kim in first, 7.43, followed by Rees Jung, Lucas Yi, and Jackson Friedemann. It's a really strong division for the blue belts this time around. And up next, we're going to have the male recognized cadet green belt final. Oh, this is Calvin Kurosaki. I was looking up for the group. Looks like Calvin is our solo athlete in this division.
That's right. It looks like he's our only green belt, so this will be a nice quick division here, but he'll still get to do both of his forms. And of course, we didn't know how many would be when he was submitting his videos, so there could have been a full finals or just him.
Right. Calvin comes to us from Shin's Taekwondo Academy in Washington, and he gets a 5.94. And we never know how many are in our division, right? We can plan for 100 or 10 or 20. No matter what, we're going to be doing our best performance. So really, he had no idea. He didn't know if there were 10 or 15 or just by himself. So I'm sure this is his best performance. At a tournament, we don't know the same thing when we register for the tournament, right? We have no idea who's going to be in there until registration is done. But once we get to the site, we kind of look around, especially you, Miyako. I always see you like peering around corners to find out all the people in your division. We kind of plan for that. He gets a 6.33 for his second form. And then kind of based on that, you might perform differently once you see it at an event, but online you don't do that. You just go for it. He gets a 6.135 and first place to Calvin Kurosaki. Okay, let's check out the male recognized cadet red belt final. We're going to start this division just a moment here after the referees pop up. And our first competitor is Noah Briseño from California. He trains here at Sacramento Taekwondo Club. So these athletes are doing Taeguk Sajang to start off. So we just saw Taeguk Sajang a few minutes ago. So it'd be nice to compare.
Right, we got to see our black belt guys do it. So hopefully our red belts now can take some inspiration from that. I think Noah is also very tall and could stand to extend some of those stances a little bit longer. He's also leaning just a tad forward on his torso. So just want to have a nice tall straight back while sitting low in the stances.
Right, and he gets a 5.94, right? That low stance, just letting your body lengthen out is challenging for a lot of these red belt athletes because they're growing, every night. I don't know, what are you thinking, 2-3 inches? But yes, I do see that little bit of that lean forward that you were mentioning. So we just need to stack our shoulders back on those back stances for sure. And the same thing here, right?
Yeah, there's that slight lean on
Making
the
sure
torso.
our hips and shoulders are in alignment on the front stance as well. Nice speed on the front kick, on the round kick.
Noah also plays baseball, and for 3 consecutive years, his team has made it to the Northern California Regional Championship, and his team won the California State Cup in 2019. So hopefully he can use some of that explosive energy and running in his Poomsae to help get those kicks up a little bit faster.
And he gets a 5.6 on the second form, so he's going to finish with a 5.77. Next up, we have Arnav Nair from Illinois. He trains at White Tiger Martial Arts Center under his coach, Sheik Lee. Nice height on the side kick, but a little bit of pike position there.
Right, I remember Arnav from our previous tournaments. He competed in both the Summer of Poomsae and the Grand Slam. Nice long legs.
Right, and he's going about it right. You want to make sure that you're competing in all of the USAT events, making sure you're racking up as many points as possible on the way. Gets a 6.37.
Well, he's used to competing because he's attended the national championships for the last 4 years, where he's medaled in both Poomsae and board breaking.
Interesting. Sometimes he has his arm on the inside of his leg when he throws a front kick, and sometimes he doesn't. That's an interesting choice. He's got really super long legs. So now it's just a matter of, controlling the upper body position and working on that alignment.
Yeah, I think just watching the position on the front kicks, like you mentioned, making sure it's consistent and just on the body.
Yeah, I like the effort on the stances. He's trying to go a little bit longer on those. And he gets a 6.4, higher score for the second form. So he's going to finish with a 6.385. Up next, we have Hemant Samaya Mantri, and Hemant is from Illinois too.
Hemant has been practicing Taekwondo since he was 6 years old, but he doesn't just do Taekwondo like many of our athletes, multi-talented. He also focuses on his academics and balances both of them very well. He's an advanced math student at his school.
And he gets a 6.63. So that's the other thing we see with a lot of our Poomsae athletes besides music. We see them with very high math skills, or they're into robotics, or they're into math competitions.
That's right. Yeah, we have a lot of people who like to code already in our cadet and junior divisions.
It's interesting. It's the second time I've seen that block kind of go up almost over the head, that block that goes across the face. Looks like almost a hybrid between a middle block and an upper block.
Mm. Yeah, so for some of these blocks, just making sure that you don't dip below your belt, and then depending on where you're wearing your belt. So Hemant actually wears his belt a little high. It really makes, I mean, look at his punch. It's half an inch above his belt. So maybe just pushing the belt down a little bit lower towards the hips will give him some more space to get the volume of motion without dipping below the belt for his hand techniques.
And he gets a 6.43. So Hemant will finish with a 6.53 and now into first place. This is Moshi Liu. Moshi's from California and he trains with his coach, Robert Vargas.
시작.
Now, it looks like these athletes are still struggling with the back stance, making sure that they're stacked both before and after the front kick. That is a hard transition. We'll get to see it really in both forms, right? But especially in 6, it's so many times you do that back stance, front kick, back stance transition.
Yeah, it's easy to fall forward, but we really need our weight all the way back for that recovery there. 6.3 for Moshi Liu.
체격 기억자. 시작. 파로. 차렷. 경례.
6.34 for Moshi Liu for the second form. So a little higher on that one. So he'll finish with a 6.32. This is Daniel Lee from New Jersey. He trains at Apex Tiger Martial Arts under his coach, Yerick Gun.
바로
And Daniel Lee gets 6.3.
시작!
So I think very common for red belts here, we're starting to see that front kick look a little bit swingy. So kind of like a stretch kick rather than a chambered kick, chamber retraction. So I think that especially for Daniel, but really for this whole group, really focusing on that chamber for the front kick is important.
Oh, really tried to get, oh, look at that. His thigh coming up really high there.
바로 시작! 차렷! 견해!
So for the second Poomsae, Daniel gets a 6.37. And finishing with a 6.335. This is Edward Pearson, and Edward is from Maryland, from S Martial Arts.
시작.
He trains there with his coach, Michael So.
Now remember Edward now from the semis, he's so tall and actually has really great reach on those kicks.
Yeah, real good posture on much of this form.
바로
So Edward's going to start off with a 6.5. Now that's the highest, no, second highest score so far because Hemant had a 6.63.
시작.
So Edward came into this round in starting in third place here. Trying to see if he can boost up.
Real nice height on those front kicks. He leans back a little bit to do it and bends his support leg a little bit to do it, but still really nice.
Ooh, barely any dip on the round kick. So our surprise so far for this finals round here is Hemant, who came in
Right.
in 6th place, right now sitting in 1st place, but Edward Pearson could unseat him. Needs a big score though.
Right. He gets a 6.5. So that's still going to be just under Hemant. Well, we'll see the standings in a moment, but Edward's going to finish with a score of 6.5. So I think that puts him in second. Let's see. Got Hemant, Samaya Mantri in first, followed by Edward Pearson, Arnav Nair, Daniel Lee, Moshe Liu, and Noah Briseño. We have 2 more athletes to go. First is Ian Kim from Arizona. He trains at the Arizona Pride and World Taekwondo Center under his coaches Ruben Lawley and Megan Yee. Now, Ian has a really clean-cut look, right? Like how can I say this? Like what we consider like that stereotypical look for Poomsae, which is like really clean-cut, really sharp-looking, 6.9 in all the best ways. And I think that matters. Like when your uniform looks on point, you know, you did your hair, you look just looking really good. You make sure your belt is the same length on either side. And then you have that strong posture. It all goes into the score. Do you agree, Miyako?
Right. I mean, for girls, we do our hair. Sometimes we'll do makeup or fake eyelashes, put bows, whatever. But guys, they really have to just have a presence because they could get a haircut and it looks like Ian did. It looks nice and sharp, fresh hair. But it's kind of the way that he carries himself, right? Nice tall posture, shoulders are down and back, and he's not having any extra motion. So the whole overall presentation is just so clean, calm, good presence. And that's how he got that massive 6.9.
Looks super confident. And he gets a 6.8. So Ian Kim's going to finish with a 6.850. This is Micah 2.
시작!
So Micah coming in here in first place from the semifinals, but has a big, big score here to try and beat if he wants to take first place. Also very calm, not looking like he's rushing at all, feels good with his own pace that he's taking on this form.
Right, very sharp. Very sharp, clean movement. It's going to be interesting to see whose contrast they like best. He gets a 6.93. So that's under Ian Kim's, right?
Just above by 0.03, I think.
Oh, that's right. So Mike is coming to us from California. He trains at KS Choi Taekwondo Center. And his coach is interesting, also coached by Megan Yee, who coached Ian Kim. And Michael also has Daniel Choi as his coach.
Well, Micah enjoys camping, cooking, playing video games, reading, playing piano, and playing with his dogs when he's not training in Taekwondo.
파도. 차렷. 경례.
So that was a very strong performance, and Micah gets a 6.93. Making it very clear here and easy for the referees. His final score is 6.93, of course. And here are the standings at the end of this final round for the cadet male red belt division. Micah 2 in first, followed by Ian Kim, Hemant Mayamantri, Edward Pearson, Arnav Nair, Daniel Lee, Moshe Liu, and Noah Briseño.
All right, and I think this is our last division for the male cadets. We're going to finish up with the yellow belts.
준비
This is Beom-Jin Kim,
시작.
and he's from Illinois. He trains at I Tiger Taekwondo under his coach, Boyeon Kim.
He has like the most presence that I've seen from any yellow belt like ever. This is very impressive.
His posture is very strong. Just his facial expression and finishes. He gives himself a lot of time to finish each step and hold it for a moment.
바로
And Beom-Jin gets a 7 wow, look at that,
Holy cow.
7.77. Wow.
It was a great form. It really was.
준비 시작.
I really don't have much of anything to say here. This is very clean. If anything, it's maybe just a little bit slow. We could try and have a slightly more interesting rhythm and tempo, but the presence, the accuracy, everything is just so good. I do think this is like one of the best yellow belts I've ever seen.
쉬어.
Right, I think he's doing a great job of finishing each technique and holding it. I'm guessing his coach will have him connect them, once he feels really comfortable with this. But sometimes if we ask athletes to connect too soon, then things get a little bit blurry. He's going to finish with a 7.655.
준비.
This is Nilesh Thakur, and he is from Golden
시작.
Eagle Taekwondo in Texas. And he trains with his coach there, Aaron
바로.
And Nilesh gets a 5.67.
So we haven't talked too much about the Grand Prix series this episode, Coach Brand. Let's
시작.
just remind everyone, they're sort of like a regional tournament since we don't have time to have all of the state championships that we normally would in March because of COVID. So we have those 3 regional tournaments coming to us in June.
Right, we're going to kick off our Grand Prix series in the West. So the Western athletes are going to be competing at the Mirage in
차렷.
Las Vegas from June 11th to
Junior.
June 13th. That's Nilesh finishing up his second Poomsae there and getting a 5.83. Good job, Danilesh. And he's going to finish with his combined score of 5.75. Let's move on to the female recognized cadet black belt division. This is Shruti Venkataraman up first.
시작.
Now, these ladies, just like the guys, had to go through almost 80 athletes to get here to the finals, the top 8.
Shruti doing a great job there. She received a 7.06. That's a great score to start off with. She comes to us from NTA Taekwondo. She's coached by True Doolittle.
시작.
So let me pick up what we were talking about, the Grand Prix. We're going to have the central competition in Fort Worth at the Fort Worth Convention Center from June 18th to 20th. And then we're going to have our Eastern Grand Prix in Greenville, South Carolina, from June 25th to 27th. So athletes who participate in those competitions, and you get to pick one, right? The one that's nearest you, they will automatically be eligible for the national championships, which are going to be held at the Alamodome in San Antonio, Texas, from August 5th through 8th.
Right, and for Shruti, that'll be very close to her for regional. She's in Dallas, and it's in Fort Worth. Those are sister cities, basically.
Perfect.
And then even the nationals for her is just over in San Antonio.
Yeah, it couldn't be much easier for our central athletes, so that'll be fun for her to head to. She's going to get a 7.015 for her final score. Up next, we have Leora Aldiosa from Master Kim's World Class Taekwondo in South Carolina. She's coached by Jun-Kyu Kim. Really nice reach on those front kicks. And yours is going to get a score of 7.0.
So I'm not great at geography for some of these states, but Leora is from South Carolina. So she hopefully should also have a nice short drive to that Grand Prix East Coast regional where she can show off some of those front kicks in her face in person to our referees.
Right, that one's going to be in Greenville during the weekend of June 25th through 27th.
And you can only go to one of those tournaments, one of those regionals, and it's based on your home state, I believe, within the registration system. So make sure that your information is up to date so that you get signed up for the correct tournament when you do register for them.
So that's Leora Aldiosa getting another 7.0. This is Ella Ward. She trains in Virginia. And her coach is Giduk Gun from Apex Tiger Martial Arts.
바로
Very strong performance from Ella Ward. She's going to get a 7.3 for her first Poomsae.
시작.
Really high kicks, like just right alongside her chest. I'm not sure if she's completely chambering those. No, actually, it looks pretty good on the left side, making sure she's bending that knee all the way up rather than swinging the leg up. Yeah, a little bit more chamber on the left side than on the right side. That's interesting.
바로 쉬어. 차렷. 견해.
So Ella got a 7.3 for her first Poomsae and now a 7.27. So she'll finish with a 7.285. This is Alana Heinrichs.
준비.
Alana trains in Illinois at Aki Martial Arts under her
시작.
coach Ray Key.
We've seen Alana compete in our tournaments as well as AAU tournaments where she's done very well. Strong athlete, pretty grounded here, looking very confident. Of course, all of these 8 athletes had to fight really hard to make it out of that semifinal round where there was nearly 40 athletes. So they're all going to be the very top here. Alana gets a score of 7.26. So a few hundredths there underneath Ella, who just went before her.
시작.
Scores have tended to drop just a little bit on the second form. They start off with Sajong now here on Yukjong. So Yukjong is a higher form in the order you learn them in. So they have a little bit less time with it, but it is, as black belts, they should be fairly comfortable and confident with all of these forms. So I think it's, and these are all slight drops
Sure.
overall.
차렷. 경례.
Alana gets a 7.27, so just slightly higher there on her second form. Ties up with Ella Ward's second form, but Alana Heinrich's combined score will be a 7.265, which puts her into second place for now.
준비.
But now we have Kaylee Yoshida.
시작.
Kaylee makes those side kicks look easy. So are these front kicks. She has very little effort in her kicks, but there is a slight lean in some of her stances where her foot will land and then her body weight shifts into place, but very, very clean overall.
hold.
And Kaylee Yoshida is going to get a 7.17 on her first form.
시작.
And Kaylee is coming to us from California and the Elite Taekwondo Center. Wow, I almost like watching the mirror there for the round kick because I get a better angle than I do coming towards the camera. I can't see. So here I'm going to cheat again if I can still see that reflection to see her alignment. Oh, just out of
Wow.
screen.
It was very nice though. I just saw that by looking straight on. Her front kicks, thighs, man, right along her body. Her torso and her front kick are completely connected.
자,
So Kaylee got a 7.17 for the first Poomsae. And now a 7.0. So she's going to finish with a 7.085. Up next, we have Juliana Candelaria from California. Nope, sorry, from Illinois. She trains with Apex Tiger Martial Arts in New Jersey.
Oh, man, these athletes and their front kicks. Juliana is very strong. She's been on the national team before. I love this setup with of course, as cadet females, they'll wear the red pants and it just matches the red wall, the red mats. Everything is just kind of like giving us intense vibes.
A huge score, 7.43 for our 2020 national team member, Juliana Candelaria.
시작.
And that is the highest score so far. Of course, these athletes are going in reverse order from the semis, but we're already seeing here some changes in the order. Juliana, though, coming into this round in third place and ahead by a couple tenths already, but we'll have to see what she gets on the second score.
I think Juliana's been at all of our online events from USAT. And she's really positioned herself well now here with the space that she's in. It's easy to appreciate her power and clean movement when we have such an easy, easy on our eye view of her.
차렷. 코니.
She got a 7.43 now, a huge 7.6.
Wow, that's massive.
And she'll finish with a 7.515. Here are standings so far in the female cadet black belt division. Juliana Candelaria in first with a good lead now over Ella Ward in second place. This is Michaela Zhang from Eagle Taekwondo.
시작.
All of our final three athletes here have all been on the U.S. team for different divisions, even at their young cadet age here of 12 to 14. Michaela, no exception there, getting another big score here.
Yeah, 7.33 for Michaela Zhang.
시작.
Really great punchy round kick, a little bit of movement on the front kick. Just that base leg bending, just a tad that we didn't see from Juliana. So we'll see if that impacts the presentation here.
Right, that causes a little bit of sway in the whole body when it starts from the ground up. So Michaela got a good score though, 7.33 for the first form. And a 7.5 for the second. So that's actually a very good score. So she has a 7.415. This is Lana Moreleda from California. She trains with the Wangale, USA.
So as we get into our final athlete here, looks like Juliana has a 7.515 currently in first. We'll see how Lana does, but whoever wins first place in this division will win that major, and that gets them a spot on the national team roster. As well, of course, as all of the ranking points that come with first place.
That's right. Lana gets a 7.37, so she's going to have to get a very high score on the second Poomsae to knock Juliana Candelaria off the lead.
시작.
Right, she's gonna have to get above like a 7.66 or something
Right.
if I can do quick math. So we'll see. That would be the highest score by far here. So let's see if she can boost up. Very capable athlete. It's totally doable.
She's looking good here. She's got a lot of good extension on the kicks. So she has a little bit of bend in that front kick leg as well, the support leg.
바로
We'll see how this plays out though. So Lana got a 7.37, needs a big score here. And she gets a 7.47. She'll finish with a 7.42. So here are our standings at the end of the female cadet black belt division. Juliana Candelaria in first, followed by Lana Moreleda, Michaela Zhang, Ella Ward, Alana Heinrichs, Kaylee Yoshida, Shruti Venkataraman, and Leora Aliosa. We're going to continue with our female recognized cadet blue belt final. And first up, we have Brandy Bird.
준비.
Brandy comes to us from Maryland. She trains at S Martial Arts under her
시작.
coach, Michael So.
So this division, I believe, is totally new to us. We haven't gotten to see any of these athletes before, although we do have a full 8 finals here.
Do we, or is it 7?
Oh, I'm
Or
not
is
sure.
it 6?
I guess we'll find out.
I think it might be even 6.
바로
And Brandy starts off with a 6.5.
I was looking at the red belt division.
시작.
So close.
바로
So that's Brandy Bird. She started us off with a 6.5.
현애.
And now another one, just a little bit higher, 6.53. So Brandy will finish with a 6.515. And up next, her teammate, Shuya Lee, also from Maryland, training together there at S
Yeah.
Martial Arts under their coach, Michael So.
I don't think we had seen too much from this dojang before the US Open, but we've seen a few athletes now, and I actually live in Maryland, so maybe I'll have to go check them out and see this dojang space.
Paddle.
That looks like a fun place to go. If they're already, getting their athletes geared up for international competition at blue belt level, they're really thinking ahead. 6.94 for Shuya Lee.
시작.
They have two difficult forms here. Actually, are they doing 4 and 6? The same forms. We're seeing a lot of these forms here from different belt levels, right? So we saw our black belts do it. Now we're getting to see our blue belts do it. So it's just a nice example, I think, for our color belt athletes to watch our black belts and see how they do it, and then try and pick up some tips and apply it into their forms.
Right. So for blue belts, this last one, Taeguk Yukjang, it's their highest form right now. So it's pretty difficult to have that pressure to do it for competition so quick. She gets a 6.67. So many athletes learn this right at about the blue belt level. She gets a 6.805.
준비.
This is Sharanya Kandati. That's a fun name to say.
시작.
And Sharanya is from Massachusetts. She trains at Evolution Martial Arts.
We don't get to see a ton of blue and yellow mats. This is fun. It matches her belt.
Right. Her coach isn't listed. Maybe you know more about that since you're neighbors, right, Miyako?
What state is she from again?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. It's a bit of a drive for me. It's about an 8-hour drive. There's a lot of East Coast states between Maryland and Massachusetts, Coach Brand.
I thought you trained there often at CW Taekwondo. She gets a 6.93.
I try and get out there, except, I've only been once in a year and a half now with the pandemic, so it's been a while. I do like the Boston area, though. Lots of great schools there. I think she can extend her front stances to make them a little bit longer, but then also some of those front stances coming forward are a little bit wide. So we'll get another glimpse here. Yeah, just a little bit wide on some of these stances.
Yeah, a little wide, little short, but lots of potential with those kicks. She's got very good flexibility.
경례.
That's Sharanya Kandati from Massachusetts, getting a 7.06. That's the highest score
Nice job.
so far in the division. And she'll finish with a 6.995 with just 3 athletes left in the division. The first is Helena Lowe
준비.
from New York. She trains at East Taekwondo with her
시작.
coach Chen Chao Lu.
Oh man, hello.
Wow.
Great flexibility on these front kicks.
It's so calm about it.
Yeah. She had a pretty good stack on weight on the back stance, but then the transition from the back stance to front stance was almost in place. But geez, these front kicks are going to give her like so many bonus points. That's not how it works. I shouldn't say that.
Aren't any bonus points?
No
whatsoever.
bonus points, but just really good, nice high front kicks.
Right, she just looks so calm, like she was just standing there maybe talking on the phone, and all of a sudden it pops up like that. 7.67 for Helena's first Poomsae.
시작.
And we're going to get lots of front kicks here and some round kicks, so this will be exciting.
Nice fight. Wow. She looks like she's been doing this for years.
Yeah, I think as she ages up a little bit more, she can start adding in a little power into her moves. But the accuracy is really good. Amazing kicks. She got the highest score by more than a point. Not quite a point, but a high here.
Yeah, finishing with a 777 for Yuchang. So let's see how she does. Her total combined score is 772, and huge gap for her. So let's see how Estelle McGraw
시작.
does here in this final round. So she's got a big score to beat here.
Well, Stella is interested in biology and wants to be a doctor when she grows up.
바로.
Well, that's great. So she did a good job on her first form. So Stella's going to get a, wow, big score, 7.23. So now we have two athletes over the 7 line.
시작.
Couple moves where her hand techniques are just a little bit off. Setting up for the round kick, the block just before the round kick, it's sort of
바로.
robotic, maybe chamber. So
Sure.
smoothing some things out, making sure they're above the belt, things like that.
경례.
But she got a good score on the first form.
Yeah, and another higher score here, 7.33. So good job to Estelle McGraw, boosting her score from a 7.23 to 7.33 and finishing with a 7.280, now easily in the second place. So here's our final athlete of the division, Annalise Yi. This great home setting. We were going to do some Poomsae Awards for best backdrop, right, Miyako?
Right.
Those Poomsae Awards are going to take place at a gala later in the year.
Everybody get your ball gowns, your tuxedos ready. Well, we got to see Annalise's brother earlier in the same garage space. Moving through here very comfortably with these forms, with this form.
바로.
And she gets a big score, 7.17. So now 3 athletes over that 7 line.
시작.
Punches there might be just a little bit high. We want to make sure they're hitting solar plexus and not quite shoulder height. And then elbows maybe down on that block before the round kick.
바로.
Nice power in the punches to finish it off.
Right, that's Annalise Yi, tons of potential there. She got a 7.17, so continues with that. She'll be right in about third. Ooh, look at that, a nice boost too.
Wow.
Just like our last 3 athletes, all with a nice boost for the second Poomsae. So she's going to finish with the 7.235, and that should get her about third. So here are standings at the end of the blue belt female division of the 2021 US Open. Helena Lowe finishing in first, followed by Estella McGraw and Annalise Yi in third.
All right, we're moving on now to our female green belt division.
Up first, we have Jenny Zhang.
준비.
Jenny is from Sky Martial Arts Academy in California, where she trains with her coach, Joseph Yoon. What fun, they get to do Taeguk Ijung, second Poomsae. So since she's a green belt, she's been doing this for a bit of time. Looks good. She's not struggling with sequence at all, moving smoothly from technique to technique. And she gets a good score, 6.83 for Taeguk Ijung.
시작.
Oh man, now here we go with Sajang.
Little more challenging or a ton more challenging.
I think a ton.
Yeah, all kinds of new techniques, doing a good job navigating that side kick line.
Well, Jenny started Taekwondo, I believe, in just June 2020. So she has only been doing Taekwondo here for less than a year, and she's already competed in tournaments in November virtually. And now here she is at the US Open, an international tournament. How exciting.
Yeah, and she gets a 6.07. So a little bit lower than the first, and I think that might be the case for a lot of these athletes because, heck, they just learned Taeguk Sajang, like, I don't know, maybe last week for some of them. This is Kingston Burke. Did you see the total for Jenny?
6.45.
Oh, great.
Wow, some flexible front kicks there. A little bit of a lean back on the front kicks, but really nice extension for Kingston here.
Oh, wow. Great score, 7.27 for Kingston Burke. So she's from Texas and she trains at World Champion Taekwondo.
Well, Kingston is just 12 years old, so in this cadet division, she still has a few more years and has really good control of those side kicks for a green belt.
Right, those front kicks go way up there. So now just the next step is working on that posture so she's nice and vertical. And then there are some times where she's pivoting on her heel. So she switches it out for pivoting on the balls of her feet. She's going to see her score go way up. And she got it at 7.27 to start, so she's in a good position. She gets now 7.23, not that much of a drop from her first score.
Well, that's because she's a competitive person in everything she does. She does competitive violin playing, cheerleading, Chinese dancing, and golf.
I wonder what that looks like. This is Mara Graham.
시작.
Mara is from Maryland. She trains at East West Taekwondo under her coach Stacy Yu, but today out here, maybe in the backyard of her home. Really nice spot. Plenty of space out there.
Yeah, this seems like a good location. It must be cold though, because I know that the cadets and juniors were recording just a couple of weeks after the seniors did ours, and there was snow. So that's why I was in my living room. So it must be cold here for Mara. So great job to her.
And she, look at that score, 7.47.
시작.
Took a quick tempo on those side kicks. I think if she waited a little bit, got a tighter chamber in the side kick, it would make the overall kick look a little bit better.
Right, she's got some pretty
바로.
good fundamentals. She's got a good start on those.
Giddy up.
That's Mara Graham from
Kinye.
Maryland. She's got a 7.47, huge score. Now at 7.46. Wow, just under. She ended up with a 7.465.
준비.
Up next, we have Anjali Joshi from
시작.
Texas. She trains at SJ Lee Taekwondo with her coach, Sangjin Lee. Wow, her kicks go way up there.
And Jolly competed in the Summer of Poomsae, where she got first place for the female youth green belt division. But now, so she's 11, turning 12 this year to be in the cadets. And look at that massive score.
Wow, 7.77. That would be great.
시작.
Well, these green belts look great. I mean, look at how like precise her stances are. Good center line. Look at the side kicks. Wow.
Right, she understands how to transition on the balls of her feet, so good job there. Couple hand techniques, just a little bit off target, but in general, really good job from Anjali Joshi.
Outside of Taekwondo, she loves baking new desserts, playing soccer, and mountain biking.
차렷. 경례.
Well, she got a huge score, 7.77, the highest one by and a
Wow.
7.8. Well, that's something. This is historic. I think she needs to make sure she has this recording to always go back to 7.785, seeing these huge scores come up. This is Tiffany Liu, and Tiffany is Anjali's teammate at SJ Lee Taekwondo. As a matter of fact, our last three competitors, meaning Anjali, Tiffany, and Vivian Liu, all with the same coach, the same clubs. So this is going to be a battle.
Yeah, both Tiffany and Anjali were very clean for their form. So I think it's just going to be who can kind of level up, be as clean in the kicks as they are with the hand techniques, and then increase that power over time.
7.86, yeah, not much issue with Tiffany's technique. 7.86, huge score. Let's see if she can bump it up even higher on Taekwondo Sajang, or at least not take a significant drop. She can stay real steady, she'll be in that first place spot.
Wow.
Exactly. Wow.
Little bit up and down in these transitions, but looks like she's trying to stack the weight in the back stances, which is good.
바로. 차렷. 경례.
So that's Tiffany Liu from Texas. She got a huge 7.86 for her first score. Now a 7.77 and into first place. Her combined score is 7.815, and we have one more athlete. And the scores have just been going up. So let's see how Vivian Liu does.
시작.
Wow, nice vertical kick here.
Wow. I remember Tiffany and Vivian from, I guess it must have been the Summer of Poomsae, because they're twins. And so, of course, they're in the same division, and they are going back to back here, and they're both very clean, very strong.
I think maybe Vivian a little bit higher score. Let's see. Oh, 7.77. That's a good high score. That's the same score as Anjali, and the same score as Tiffany's second Poomsae. So if Vivian can get higher than a 7.86 on here, she'll take it. And again, that little bit of up and down movement that we saw with Tiffany. So maybe they just have to level out their height a bit on some of these lines. They have a lot of potential for increasing their power. You can really pull a little bit harder with that one hand to get the other out nice and strong. So that's Vivian Liu from Texas needing, just under 7.76. So her sister with that 7.86, just a little bit higher here. She's going to finish with a 7.765. So here are standings at the end of this final round for the female cadet green belts. Tiffany Liu in first, followed by Anjali Joshi, Vivian Liu, and Mara Graham in that fourth place spot. Now we're on to the female recognized cadet red belt final.
준비.
Up first, we have Alexandra Mayor from Florida. She trains at American Tiger Martial Arts, and her coach, Kathy Doe. So starting off with Taegeuk Gyukjung here.
And this is a full finals here. We did have them have a semifinal, the red belts. So this is the top 8. So this is a reverse order from the semis.
Right, and we lost some really good athletes going from the semis to the finals. This was a pretty skilled group.
Yeah, I felt that way about so many of these divisions, actually. The semis cutoff has been so terrible because we lost so many good athletes.
Right, and Alexandra starts off with a 6.3 for Gyukjung.
시작.
But that really speaks to how deep our pipeline is going to be. And there are a lot of opportunities in the coming years, I think, for us to really improve it even further. Having opportunities like this Grand Prix series that's coming out. We've mentioned talent ID camps potentially in the future. And of course, the online Poomsae Taekwondo University, which has been floated and we don't have too much info yet, but keep your eyes and ears open because there's a lot coming out for Poomsae in the coming years.
Right, so Alexandra gets a 6.33, very similar to her score, 6.3 for her first Poomsae. So she'll finish with the 6.315. Up next, we have Ji-Hoo Kim.
준비.
Ji-Hoo trains in California at Sky Martial Arts Academy with her coach, Andrew Yoon. She's got that great front kick that just goes right up for her with what seems like very little effort. It just pops up for her.
Right, brown kick too.
Little up and down motion that you'll have to control in time so that her head stays nice and level.
바로.
And Ji-Hoo gets 6.33, which is what Alexandra's second score was. So let's see if she can get higher than a 6.3 to move into first.
시작.
She's a little bit careful with her stances where there's not a hard finish to them. So I think if she just extended the front kicks, make sure those side kicks are in alignment, but kind of locking those knees out or straightening the back leg on a front stance, that will just help her look a lot cleaner overall for the impression.
I agree. She's got a lot more length she can use on those stances, pushing out a little bit further. Of course, she probably feels a lot more balanced in the shorter stance, but we just need her to take a few risks with the length. And she gets a 5.33.
She did take a deduction there. You'll see it in the center of the screen.
So she'll finish with a 5.83. This is Valerie Spatsky.
시작.
And Valerie gets a 7.1.
시작.
Valerie got the highest score so far here by a big margin, and I think it's kind of just how she's settling into these stances. They could be a little bit longer, but she has a nice finish to her techniques.
바로.
Yeah, Valerie's in no rush for sure. She's really taking her time to finish everything. That 7.1 is really big in this division because the highest score for that was a 6.33. So now she gets a 7.14, so even a little bit higher on that second Poomsae. So she'll finish with a 7.12 and easily into first place. Up next, we have Mariani Zhang from Minnesota. She trains at the Kukiwon Taekwondo Academy with her coach, Young Kim. She's looking good here, nice and calm. She has a nice high kick. She just needs to straighten out that support leg.
바로.
Narayani's going to get a 6.6. Second highest score for that first Poomsae.
시작.
And she's doing this on mats that aren't puzzle mats, but wow, her side kick's really flying up there too. Narayani has competed at multiple national tournaments here going back to 2018, and outside of Taekwondo, she likes to dance.
She likes to dance?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So Narayani, a little higher score. She had a 6.6 last Poomsae, now 6.64. So she'll boost her score up to 6.62. Up next, we have Ria Janardhan from Sacramento, training here at Sacramento Taekwondo Club.
Ria is so tall. Geez, her legs go on for days. Wow. Oh man, that was like a vertical split. So easy. Man.
Yeah, many of these athletes like Ria, and they just seem to be using almost no effort at all to get those kicks up there. You just want to go.
And it's so impressive too, because her legs are so long, and so they just go so far up, and then she is staying low in these stances. And I'm sure that, you know, a lot of that has to do with her background in dance, which she's done for 11 years. So having those nice strong legs and good flexibility here.
She gets a good score, 7.03, but Valerie Shvatsky got a 7.1, right? So
Yeah.
she's still in the lead. So Ria's going to have to do some work here to boost over that score, because Valerie got a 7.14 for her second form.
Nice reach on the kicks. A little bit of a pause between them as she was doing that kind of transition, which is one of the hardest transitions, honestly, that side kick to side kick. But she's really trying to boost up these kicks here as high as she can.
Right, and then when you boost up like that, it's, you know, what does the recovery stance look like? Are you doing that and being able to balance after that, or does the stance end up short, or, you know, many things. Oh, 7.1, so That was pretty close, but I think that's going to put her probably in second place rather than taking the lead by just a bit. So it's a 7.065 to Valerie's 7.12. So it is on here in the cadet red belt division for sure. This is Kayla Wong. Kayla is from Team Kim Boyan in California.
And it's exciting for us as viewers to see some of these switch ups, but I'm sure the athletes, all of these, the 8 red belt athletes here watching each other are nervous and watching with, you know, heart rates going pretty fast, but hopefully they're still enjoying the whole process.
Sure. I mean, it's so odd, right, to be a spectator in your division when you're used to being there in person and just sweating it out. There's nothing you can do at this point but just watch and hope it was just like you remembered it, like perfect. 7.04, that's a good score for Kayla Wong. That's just a bit higher than Ria Janardin's and just under Valerie Shvatsky.
I think if she can work on keeping that base leg nice and straight, it will help with the overall impression of the kick. Right now it's collapsing just a little bit, a little wide on that last stance there, but I do think she has some nice power coming through on her hand techniques. So I just want to make sure that the base of our techniques, our legs, are grounded and strong and then tall on the kicks.
And she gets a whopping 7.13. So I think that'll push her into second place with a 7.085, just over Ria and just under Valerie. So here are standing so far: Valerie Shvatsky in first, followed by Kayla Wong, Ria Janardin, Narayani Zhang, Alexandra Fuenmayor, and Jihu Kim. Up next, we have Jordan Tomas. And Jordan is from,
시작.
you know, I want to say How Taekwondo is the correct pronunciation.
I think that's right.
Yeah, How Taekwondo in California, coached by Ricky Howe.
Nice extension on these kicks here. I do feel like her finish is a little bit soft, so we're not getting the click in the hands and the feet at the same time.
바로.
Oh, a huge score, 7.6 for Jordan Tomas.
That is massive. Like, that's a huge jump. Oh, I should have looked at the accuracy in the presentation so I could get a better idea of what the judges are seeing here. Nice, easy transition there between those two side kicks.
Good, and a good finish for Jordan Tomas, way in the first place with a 7.6. That's just a crazy gap right now. And a 7.4 for the second Poomsae. So she'll finish with a 7.5 and a huge gap in first place. Up next and last, Ellie Waldman from Arizona. She trains at Arizona Pride Taekwondo and the World Taekwondo Center under Ruben Lawley and Megan Yee.
I remember Ellie, she has some good power, but slight hunching in her shoulders on some of these front kicks. But otherwise, she's really trying to boost the power and show the timing, right? So we get a good pause at the end of the lines.
Yeah, that's probably her best feature, right? A little bit of piking on the round kick sections. Really trying to show off the timing for sure.
바로.
So that's a very good score, just under Jordan Tomas. Let's see if she can boost up a little higher with this score.
시작.
Oh, I like her hair. I don't think I noticed it before. Took some time to do that bun. Nice power on these last punches here.
바로.
So that's Ellie Waldman from Arizona, looking very strong through that performance and coming into this finals in first place out of the semifinals. And so now she's going to finish with a 7.26. So yeah, 7.26 for the second form. And here are standings at the end of the female cadet division finals. Okay, up next we have the female recognized cadet yellow belt final. We have two athletes in this division.
준비.
The first one is Audrey Nidringas from Alabama.
시작.
She trains at JYT USA, Young in Martial Arts.
Well, this is so fun. We get to have these yellow belts. I wonder when they started Taekwondo. Like, it could have been in January. So now they're already competing in this big tournament.
Right, can you imagine that as yellow belt stepping into this international level competition?
That's great, and she
Huddle.
looks very confident with that form.
She does. I don't know, not many athletes will feel so confident like that. 6.83. Just coming into Taekwondo, and now so many people across the country and across the world tuning in for this competition.
시작.
That was a great score, 6.83 to start. Now gets to do Tega Giljang. What fun.
Well, they probably only know two forms as yellow belts, so they're going to do both of them.
It's true.
Her accuracy is really quite good considering she's just a yellow belt. I mean, if you've been doing anything for just a couple of months, I feel like you're not going to be super accurate at it, but she's coming out here very clean, very strong, good placement. She's looking great.
So Audrey's second Poomsae gets
Wow.
a 7.1 for Tega Giljang. That's
Gotta
remarkable.
love Iljang.
So she'll finish with a 6.965.
준비.
And our other competitor in the division is Megan Frieswick. Megan is from Massachusetts. She trains at Premier Sport Taekwondo with her coach, Taeyoung Kim.
So Megan actually started Taekwondo in January of 2020. So she has a year here, and she earned her yellow belt while training virtually. And she was the
Oh, and
first.
that's not easy.
It's not easy to start. Well, I don't know if she started virtually, but to do her like first real belt test virtually
Right.
must be super hard.
Oh, this is a battle. So she got a 7.1. Now Audrey got a 7.1
시작.
in her second form. So Megan's going to need to get higher than a 6.83 to take it.
Well, I think Megan definitely has that spirit in her. She was part of a 2018 competition dance team that won a national championship. So
Oh.
not that she knows, but it's all the pressure right now for this Iljang that she just performed
경례.
to close out our
She
episode
knows what
here.
it takes. Oh, and she gets a 7.2
Wow.
to take the division. She's gonna finish with the 7.15, just a bit over Audrey's score. So Megan Priestwick taking the title over Audrey Niederhaus.